Okay. All right. Freeze. Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. I'm out here with Salaam Ismial, and again, your name is? Hassana Smith Thomas. Okay. All right, and we're going to be talking about today the Black American flag being raised on June 17th. In honor of Juneteenth, was June 18th, which is my birthday, Father's Day, and everything all wrapped up in one. So my birthday will be cut in half this year, but not next year. Again, I'm out here with Salaam Ismial and Hassana. Actually, I'm going to ask you, where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, first of all, one of the reasons why we're here, which is at the grounds of the Union County Courthouse at 2 Broad Street in Ismial, New Jersey, is because this is where we're going to have one of our ceremonies in honor of Juneteenth.
Okay.
Which is, well, people don't understand. Let me explain something about Juneteenth. People don't know exactly what day that the Army arrived in Galveston. They know within the team. So it could very well be June 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th.
Well, but let me interject this here, Salaam. Because of the lack of education at that time, we pronounce a lot of names a lot different. Like like my mother once said that there's not really a name, Cassandra. It's really Sandra. We put things together because our pronunciation or whatever, this, that, and other. And so there's not a Sandra, there's not a Cassandra, it's really Cassandra, but because of the education. And so what I wanted to know this here, and maybe you can clear this up for me and the audience, is that when we say Juneteenth, was it June 19th or June 18th, or we at that time our enunciation wasn't up the part? Because we got to tell the truth, because we come from the from the plantation.
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
What's reported is that there's no actual date of which it actually happened.
Okay.
So they say that's why Juneteenth became into because it's really not, to say it could have been the 18th, 19th, or 16th, 17th, or 13th. So be it as it may, it's now a national holiday. People know that we're going to be celebrating it that Monday, June 19th. However, June 18th, 17th, 16th, and beyond, people are going to be having some sort of event around the nation. So here in Elizabeth, New Jersey, on Saturday, June 17th at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. we will be here at the county courthouse grounds, where we will have a flag raising. We will also have a balloon release in recognition of what happened in 1741. And I will explain that when I'll talk to my comrade also to speak to it. 1741 is a historical time for this area, New Jersey and New York, because that's when they did the so-called uprising of the slave. The slave had supposed to have been rebelling across the lands, and part of that conspiracy turned out to be false, ended up with hundreds of slaves being hanged or burnt at the stake, or sent back to the Caribbean islands where many slaves was held at. And here in Elizabeth did not even lose a spot on that. So they rounded up 3 slaves, said they was part of the conspiracy here in Elizabethtown, as it's called, and they put them on trial. They convicted them.
Okay.
And then they executed them by way of burning at the stake, which was part of the capital punishment of that day.
All right.
And we found this information about 3 years ago. And we brought before the county commissioner, like the city council of the county, to not only recognize that what happened and condemn what happened, but also put a monument up. So they've been resistant for 3 years. So, with the help of all our comrades, you have Hassana Thomas here, many activists from around the area, including New York, came and put pressure on them. Now they agreed to put a monument at this site here at the Union County.
But we still don't have the date, is that correct?
We don't have a date. We don't have the specifics of what that monument is going to look like. But hopefully in the next coming weeks, not months, but weeks, we will have that and we will be able to announce it. So Saturday, June 17th at 11, between 11 and 1, we're going to have like a mock ceremony visual for in honor of those 3 slaves on Juneteenth, because Juneteenth is not only about the freedom, the so-called reluctant freedom that we got from this country, which we still trying to figure out what that freedom really means.
Sure.
But a lot of the atrocity that came with it. And so this is one of those atrocities that happened during the enslavement of 1 million of Black Americans in this country.
In the state of Texas.
And
So let me interject and say this and ask you this question. So in case of when reparations do happen,
like,
all right. When reparations do happen, those slaves that's descended from Texas, they get reparations from 1863, but they also get 2 years of some other kind of grant or some other kind of payment because they were illegally kidnapped into slavery.
well, I mean, as far as those extra 2 years that they spent in enslavement, hopefully the state of Texas, or the Africans that live in slavery in Texas should ask for a little something special.
Well, without a doubt, because of the 2 years.
To the rest of the country.
In other words, if they gave us a portion, they get a little bit more, because they were actually kidnapped and things of that nature.
Well, no,
now, we are still, but in the case of most of our families that descended from slavery, then we still could probably sue the state of Texas because of the insecurity that it offered our forebears, knowing that the state of Texas, which was a large state that was still in slavery, what did you think about those that were free? Did they think that maybe they would start slavery over again? Because again, a bigger state, the big states, Texas, did not release, the people, and could this thing overturn? It had to. This is just a common thing.
Let me say this.
Had to ask.
I don't want to go too far off.
Well,
the event, but yeah, I mean, there's a number of bills that's out.
Yes.
In California, I think that one. New Jersey got some bills on the table. I think New York has now just announced they have a reparation bill. So there's a lot of reparation bills, and they're gonna look like so many different things to so many different people. So we'll see how that pan out. And certainly, we're gonna have a voice in that.
Okay.
For New Jersey. So,
all right.
The 1741, as you know, Hassana is something that we fought hard for. We had to go and speak before the commission many times.
Many times, really hard, a lot of hard work. Finally got a little piece of the pie, but we're not finished yet. We want to make sure we get the monument up. We want to make sure that the people's names stay in Elizabeth history.
Sure.
We want our children to learn about their history. That's a lot of things that, a lot of places like Florida now is trying to keep the African American history out of the books. We want to make sure here in Elizabeth, they know what's going on.
Sure.
It happened right here around the site where we're sitting at right now, or whatever, a public execution. So we want to make sure that the public see the reparations for that. We want to make sure that they know who these men are and what they died for.
Sure.
They died for freedom of speech.
Yes.
They died for their freedom.
Yes.
So why not teach our children what it is?
Yes. And I believe that, my mother always said, charity begin at home, and a poor frog should never forget the pond that they come from. Don't
a lot of them don't care no more.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know about it. They wasn't educated on it. So if they're not educated on it, why should they believe in what's going on?
Again, like I said, yes, you're right also. And again, a charity begins at home. So we need to start really teaching that while we feeding cereal and things like that, without doubt.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why it's important that Elizabeth, what people don't know, Elizabeth founded in 1665. Actually, they came in 1664 and made this great city a settlement. I saw an invasion, I call it. And this city became the first state capital. Some people don't know that Elizabeth was the first
I didn't
capital.
know that right there.
Yeah, first state capital. In fact, it didn't even reach the Trenton to the 1700s.
Wow.
Late 1700s. So this city, Elizabeth, have a lot of history. And we got a lot of other stuff in the store. That monument is not going to be the only thing that we're going to be asking for, because you dab and do around this town, you'll see a lot of remnants of what happened hundreds of years ago.
Sure.
So many of our people.
Sure.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have the prayer vigil and ceremony for those three slaves here on June 17th. That's Saturday at between the hours 11 and 1 p.m. We have some speakers. We're probably going to have a lot of background noise, but this is the urban city, you don't expect that. And we're going to also, like Hassana said, teach our generation this history. Because if we don't, we're going to teach kids.
That's right.
Nobody
That's
else
right.
teach.
That's right.
So we hope people will come. And the second part of the event I want to talk about is a celebration, a party for Juneteenth. And that's going to be from the hour of, also going to be June 17th. That's going to start from 4 o'clock p.m. to 8 p.m. And we're going to have speakers, we're going to have music, we have food, and it is a donation. Part of the donation is going to go towards the Foundation of Secure Garrett, the National Action Network, the United Youth Council, and so it's a fundraiser, but it's also as a day an opportunity for us to celebrate our blackness,
Yes.
our culture,
Black American
our
history. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we hope people can join us for that day and participate in it and have it. And I know we plan a lot of different things that are going to go on that day.
Okay. All right.
It's really important to come out and come and celebrate with us. A lot of the work that we do, we don't get paid for this. This is our lives.
Yes.
We do it 24/7. So even a small donation goes a long way. We help other people in the community. We try to do like the monument. So we need funding for that. So whatever it is, please, if you will come out, donate. If you just want to donate, please get in contact with us. But also the main thing, come, let's celebrate our Black history.
That's
let's
right.
celebrate, let's be united. That's
Yes.
something that we need out here in Elizabeth.
Yes.
We need support.
Yes.
You know, we organizations that we small, but we try to do a lot. So you can come out and help us. Please come help us. Come celebrate your Blackness.
Okay.
And you know, I want to just give information. Anybody want to call, they can call me at 917-673-0563. And also you can email NUYC1@hotmail.com. So we urge you to come out. We urge you to support our efforts. And most importantly, we urge you to get educated.
All right. Again, this is Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Good night.